All right, YouTube, Auburn is entering the bye week. A very strategic bye week, I think, especially with Georgia on the horizon. I think the timing is pretty good because, you think about the injuries with Marlon Davidson, Jeremiah Denson actually missing the last game because of a virus. So the bye week couldn't have come at a better time for Auburn to go ahead and reflect and get ready for this stretch that will include two of Auburn's biggest rivals in Alabama and Georgia, and also very high consequence games. Georgia actually has Missouri this week. Now, Missouri is a team that Georgia they find a way to beat them, but they don't play particularly well against Missouri, because you think about last year, Georgia needed a couple of turnovers to win that particular game. Alabama obviously facing one of the biggest challenges of the year. LSU actually bringing a little bit more offensive power to counter the Tua Tagovailoa and the onslaught of receivers at Alabama. Now, those receivers at Alabama and LSU, I want to say that they are equally opposite. I think the ones at LSU, they're more, they're big play prone, but they're not as big play prone as, say, the Henry Ruggs and, those guys. But either way, very, very interesting November on the horizon. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast Talking Auburn Football. Go ahead and like this video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. As always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. Auburn is 7-2 and ranked number 12 in the country. However, if you're an Auburn fan, you're probably thinking, yeah, we're 7-2, but it could fall apart. You could go from 7-2 to 8-4 in a couple of weeks. There are a good handful of Auburn fans that have this sort of glass half empty type approach to Auburn, and rightfully so. Then you have others that have kind of sort of a very, very casually, very reluctant glass half full approach. Now, let's just think about it in humanistic terms. They have this saying that there's a thin line between love and hate, right? Auburn fans absolutely love Auburn. They love Auburn everything. They love Auburn basketball. If Auburn had a drag racing team, you'd hear a bunch of War Eagles out there, right? Alabama, I'm just going to say this from the outside looking in because I really don't know. But it seems like Alabama's just stuck on the football team. As long as the football team is winning, they are good to go. But Auburn is all basketball, all baseball, all equestrian, blah, blah, blah. Pat Dye even said it. He said Alabama fans love Alabama football. Auburn fans just straight up love Auburn everything. And what is there not to love about Auburn? You talk about like very unique traditions. You got an eagle that flies around the field and lands as these fans just fanatically cheer. Doesn't make sense. But some kind of way, it still gives you goosebumps.
Like, man, this is really cool. So I think about Auburn, and I think about the Auburn fans, so to speak. And we're not going to get too technical with football, X's and O's and things of that nature. But, I look at it like this. Like I said before, it's a thin line between love and hate. Auburn fans say they hate Auburn's current state, but it's the same reason why they love Auburn. It's like being in a dysfunctional relationship. It's intriguing, frustrating, but at the same time, when you get what you feel you want, it's satisfying at the same time. Auburn fans hate to admit that they like the drama. They like the unpredictability. See, Alabama, if you look at their program, Alabama is the good brother. Alabama is the brother that went to college and that went to, they got the good job, the CEO at State Farm or whatever the case may be, that makes the family proud, that's got maybe the trophy wife and blah, blah, blah. That's what Alabama represents. Alabama is so predictable. Alabama is low-key kind of boring to where you really don't have to watch their games because you kind of know because of their pedigree, they're going to win the game. And we talk about the weak schedule of Alabama, but they're pretty much favored to beat anybody that they play. Auburn, on the other hand, is not. You know, Bama, like I said, is like the good man or the good woman that you think you want, but deep down, you really want that mysterious nature of Auburn. You want that flair for the dramatics. So much so, the media actually likes it too. So you don't have to feel absolutely foolish in being an Auburn fan because the media likes it too. Auburn has been featured on ESPN's prime time multiple times this year, even against games that didn't make sense like Kent State and Tulane, and just recently against Ole Miss. That should have probably been traditionally a 12 o'clock game. But because Auburn has this flair of the dramatics and the ability to create ratings, that's why they keep asking them to come back. That's why they keep going back to Auburn. They're gluttons for pain too, just like the Auburn fan base. I think the Auburn fan base are one of few fan bases that see Auburn for really what it is see Auburn for literally a direct reflection of the total scope of humanity on a football field. The game against Ole Miss, for example, Auburn had no business having that game come down to the wire, but that's the nature of Auburn football. And it doesn't matter who the coach is. And the funny thing about it is, Auburn fans, they see Alabama, they see Clemson, they see LSU, they see Georgia. They see that predictability. They think they want it. But if Auburn had a season where you just run through the table with no dramatics, no dramatic endings, it wouldn't be the same. It just straight up wouldn't. And it would take away why most are Auburn fans anyway. Most people are Auburn fans because either A, they went to college there, like myself. I was actually a Florida State fan for the most part. Liked Auburn, always liked them. And I always saw crazy stuff that Auburn did to win games. And this has nothing to do with now the kick six or the prayer at Jordan Hare. We're talking all the way back to 1992 or 3, I think it was, when Auburn had 4 interceptions to win a game. What is the likelihood? Auburn goes into Alabama with Trey Smith in 2000, backup running back. Folks all but counted him out. Auburn wins that game. 2013, the kick six. Auburn, talent-wise, had no business competing against Alabama that year. They banged with Alabama all the way. The game probably shouldn't have even come down to that. Auburn had a very, very competitive showing, even coming back from behind 20-7 to make that a ball game, winning that one. Then, of course, we got the prayer Jordan Hare. Other teams like Alabama, for example, yes, when you argue with them, you can't deny the national championships. You can't deny the quote-unquote success on the field. But I guarantee you, if you ask most Alabama fans, not the ones that's really close to the program, but I'm talking about most of your casual Alabama fans, the only thing they remember about that year is the fact that they won the national championship. No memorable moments, no dramatics, just kind of going through the season, beating everybody, and moving on. That's why Auburn fans like Auburn, because you always remember the seasons. You always remember key moments that take you back. Whether it's 2004, the undefeated season, the memorable moments there, Ronnie Brown running over a Tennessee player and his helmet coming off. You remember great runs by Brad Lester. You remember the memorable moment of Kenny Irons at LSU. You remember Rudy Johnson. You remember Ben Tate against Florida. You remember Ronnie Brown when Carnell Williams goes down and he almost leads Auburn to victory down in Florida. You remember those things. You remember Cam Newton, even though this is a national championship year, you remember his performance against LSU. You remember his performance against South Carolina. You remember the comeback. Those are all memorable moments. I guarantee you in that one season, Auburn probably had more memorable moments than any Alabama fan could care to believe. That's why they watch Auburn football when Alabama is, hell, even when they're playing, because they know it's nothing to see there at Alabama. It's straight up predictable. They have so much talent. They have great coaching, and it's very predictable. Very boring to watch. That's why you like being an Auburn fan. You like the dramatics. You like the fact that no matter who Auburn plays against, you don't know what the outcome is going to be. You hate it, but you love it at the same time. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast talking Auburn football. Go ahead and like this video, comment, and subscribe to the channel. As always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.